Today, Bitcoin briefly slips below $80,000 after Trump's White House crypto summit on Friday failed to impress. And Greg Prisco of M Labs discusses the other crypto meetings that happened in Washington last week. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Bitcoin struggling to hold above the $80,000 level as we kick off the week. The cryptocurrency briefly dropped to its lowest level since November after prices struggled through the weekend. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin traded right at $80,000. Meanwhile, Ether traded just above $2,000 and XRP traded at $212. Crypto ETFs just registered their fourth week in a row of outflows led by Fidelity's FBTC. According to CoinShares data, crypto funds saw $867 million in outflows last week, bringing its total outflows during the 4-week period to $4.75 billion. Most of the bearishness came from the U.S., where investors pulled out $922 million last week. Other regions, particularly Switzerland, Canada, and Germany, saw a buying opportunity. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. President Trump held the first crypto policy summit at the White House on Friday. Top executives, including Coinbase's Brian Armstrong, Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev, and Strategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor joined the president and crypto czar David Sachs to talk digital asset regulation and just how Trump's planned crypto reserves would work. As a refresher, President Trump signed an executive order directing the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which would house Bitcoin seized in legal action. Separately, that order also created a digital asset stockpile to hold other seized cryptocurrencies like Ether. That being said, many in the crypto industry felt the summit was lacking. While Trump did assert that he wanted to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, we didn't get much more information on how these reserves would work, especially the Bitcoin reserve, for which Trump's executive order directed the Treasury and Commerce departments to explore ways to acquire more Bitcoin in the future. Jeff Park of Bitwise posted on X during the summit, claiming the president was now off the hook for what the crypto community did for him, and that the industry asked for too little from a pro-crypto administration. Next, Utah's legislature just passed a bill to create crypto protections for residents, but it removed a key piece of the bill, the creation of the state's own Bitcoin reserve. The state Senate voted to pass the Blockchain and Digital Innovation Amendment 19-7 with 3 non-votes. The bill establishes custody and management requirements for firms holding crypto, along with regulations for stablecoins. But a change to the bill last week removed language that would have allowed the state treasurer to use public funds to acquire Bitcoin. State Senator Kurt Cullimore said that it was stripped from the bill due to concerns with the provision. The State House went on to vote in favor of the amendment 52-19. All right, for our main story, Trump's White House summit wasn't the only crypto policy meetup happening in Washington last week. Crypto World's Mackenzie Sigalos spoke with Greg Prisco, co-founder and chief architect of M. He spoke with a number of lawmakers on Capitol Hill last week, and he breaks down the biggest legislative priorities for Congress.
So lots happening in Washington in regard to crypto this week. While the White House is holding a crypto summit, you were at a meeting with officials in Washington earlier this week. You're joining Stand With Crypto to talk to congressmen. What can you tell us about those conversations, and what are you trying to tell the lawmakers that you're meeting with?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. So as you mentioned yesterday, I was on Capitol Hill. I was meeting with some of the House Financial Services leadership. And I have to say, it's a very exciting environment. Say what you will about Donald Trump, but he has breathed life back into the legislative process. The House and the Senate are ready to work together, and there is a broad bipartisan effort to get crypto legislation through both houses.
Now, to that point, there are 2 laws that we're really watching right now. First is the DeFi broker rule that the Senate just passed that's now headed to the House. What's the significance of that passage in your view?
Well, that rule, I mean, I'm going to be honest, that was one of the dumbest pieces of legislation that has ever gotten through a legislative body. They were literally asking you to do something that was impossible for you to do. So I'm a builder of these protocols, and I could tell you firsthand, like you could not comply with those rules. So it's really refreshing to see them repeal that, and I hope it just goes through without a hitch.
And then the other bill that's moving through Congress is the stablecoin bill, which some have said could prioritize U.S.-based organizations. Based upon what we know so far, is that bill headed in the right direction?
So that was the main subjects of my conversations on the Hill. I run a stablecoin startup. My company is called M. We build infrastructure for stablecoin issuers. And it's going in the right direction for sure. The one thing I was trying to get across was don't build this just for Circle and Tether. They're the big boys in the room today, but I have a feeling that we're going to look at them more like Nokia and BlackBerry, and hopefully companies like ours are going to build the iPhone of crypto.
Some said that the stablecoin legislation, at least in its current form, might actually be a headwind for Tether and might benefit a US-based issuer like Circle with USDC. Have I misread the legislation, or have you also seen that kind of language?
No, and of course, if you're operating from the US and you're doing it in line with the legislation, you're going to have an advantage. You should. I just hope that it doesn't be too prescriptive on what it does to people like Tether. I think you should let people make their own choices, and they'll choose assets like the ones that are produced in the US because they have better consumer protections and because they are regulated under these frameworks.
Obviously, a big portion of the White House Crypto Summit is a hope that we'll get some clarity around a crypto reserve. Now, there was some comment from Senator Cynthia Lummis where she said that a crypto reserve might be a ways away because lawmakers still seem hesitant. Is that the sense that you get when you talk to congressmen, that this might be an uphill battle if it needs congressional approval?
I didn't see a big focus on a crypto reserve. There were some individuals who were pushing a Bitcoin reserve specifically. But the one that the president proposed, I just didn't see a lot of focus on that. I mean, from what I saw, these guys are laser focused on getting the stablecoin legislation through. Some of the industry participants were more interested in the market structure bill, but everybody wanted to talk stablecoins, which I was very happy about because I think that's really an easy win for everybody. It unites the Democrats and the Republicans and spreads the US dollar abroad. It's just good legislation.
To this larger strategy of having a pro-crypto administration, a pro-crypto Congress, I have to admit that even I'm having a hard time keeping track of all of these groups and initiatives. There are a lot of moving parts in regard to crypto in Washington. There are caucuses, there are working groups. There's the meeting you had yesterday. There is the first ever White House Crypto Summit on Friday. So my question to you out of that is, does there need to be more coordination or consolidation?
Maybe, but look, right now I'm just very happy because I've been in this business a long time. I started full time in crypto in 2016. I went down to DC during the first Trump administration. I avoided it like the plague during the Biden administration. And what I saw yesterday was just a whole different world than anything I'd been exposed to before. I mean, there is just energy to get things done. I think what you're perceiving as a lack of coordination is really just something that we're not used to as Americans anymore, which is seeing Congress actually do things. So I just thought it was very uplifting to be there. There's an amazing energy going on in DC, and I hope it carries through. And I'm glad that crypto can be the first use case to really test out this new framework with.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.